Hi everyone, and welcome to this session on, there we go. Hi everyone, and welcome to this session on SharePoint for Teams with the Microsoft EduDay in Australia. I first of all would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we're meeting on today and show my respect to elders past, present and future. And I'd like to also remind us that a lot of Aboriginal culture was shared through storytelling. So I think it's really important that as we share our learnings with each other, we tell through stories. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be telling you the stories of my SharePoint journey. So I'd also like to show my respects to all elders, past, present and future. Now, Amanda's going to share with you where you'll be able to find this link. I only have 45 minutes. Actually 40, because I'll stop and chat, answer questions at the end of that 40 minutes for 5 minutes. And Amanda will also answer some along the way if you have any burning questions. So during our session today, we're going to look at some of the SharePoint sites that I've built in the last little while, show you how you can edit a team sitting underneath a SharePoint sitting underneath a Teams site, show you how you can create a separate SharePoint sitting outside Teams or without needing your tenant admin, show you how to add some bling to your sites. Anyone who knows me knows that I like things to look pretty, so we're going to do some of that. And then if we've got some time, I'm going to show you how to create Power Apps inside your SharePoint. So making, let's just say, Forms and Excel aren't the best way to keep our data nice and tight and safe, whereas Power Apps and lists can help us to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So if there are any questions, just ask Amanda along the way. And thank you very much, Amanda, for being my wingman. I always love having you on board. And let's go. So I'm just going to open a little collection I have here ready to go. And off we go. So this is, all right, SharePoints, lots of SharePoints. So this is a SharePoint that we have at one of the schools I work with. I currently work across 4 high schools as a Deputy Principal of Innovation, and this is one of my schools. And the point of this SharePoint is that it is a final document storage for all our official stuff at the school. So all our assessment notifications, all our programming, all our sort of policies and guidelines, everything is housed in here so that if NESA ever come to visit us, those who are not from New South Wales, NESA is our standards authority, if they ever come to visit us, we can give them this SharePoint and everything is in here for them. So just to show you how it's set up, so when I set up SharePoints, I do the folder structure for people. So if I head here into this faculty planning folder, you'll see that buttons guide people's journey through here. So if I go into stage 4 integrated, and then you'll see the folders are all embedded in here. So if I head into year 7, you'll see the year 7 bootcamp. So in this folder are all the final documents that they used for running this project with students. So through my setup, so if I was to head into lifestyle and I was to head into stage 4, we then go out to the folders and we can see the folder setup is there for people. So while staff are still able to create their own folders, they don't, because the folders are already there. At this school, we're moving away from using our networked folders so that staff can get to everything here. The other thing that's done at this school is that many faculties have a Teams environment. So Quest, for example, have a Teams environment in which they keep all their work in progress documents. So all their programming that's on the flow, all their resources, all the stuff that's being developed is kept in separate environments, and this allows them to use whatever they're comfortable with. Some other stuff that we have here. So any sort of variations and return and change of routines are in this rosters, exam covers, etc. And one thing that I've done in here is I've actually set up an alert for myself. I've created an alert here, 3 dots, alert me. if I just quickly manage my alerts, you'll see what's happening. And I get a little email sent to me if anything new is added to this folder. Sure, we can use Automate. So our Automate, which used to be Flow, can be used, but in New South Wales Education, we have a slight issue because our email is kept in a different system than Office 365 email. So until that comes across, I'm not using Automate very much, but I am using the alert system. So you can set that alert on any folder level to get notifications. I've also got some documents pinned at the top, so I can actually probably unpin this one now because it's not needed anymore. So I can unpin. If I did want to pin a document, it's just about clicking on the 3 dots and choose Edit Pin. Oops, that one's already pinned. Good on me. So if I click on those 3 dots there, and we can pin to the top. So that is something that I can recommend you do when you get your stuff all happening, your SharePoint happening. So just showing teachers, I've created little alerts for them to do that. Another SharePoint we might go and have a look at now is our data warehouse that I'm starting to, as we collect data, more and more data in schools, I'm starting to create little warehouses. I'm playing with Power BI on the side, but this is how I'm collecting all the data. So if I was to go into here, you will see that I have a list here, as we call it, a list that will feed into a Power BI if I want, but it also has, if I just breathe for a second and quickly show you here, if I click on the new button, a form pops out that I can fill in for data to go automatically to my list. Although at this point, there we go, here we go. We did a faculty programming audit and everything was in here for us to work with, all drop downs and all sorts of things. So if you like, it's like a form, but it's sitting inside SharePoint. So when the data is collected, it's as safe as houses. So some other SharePoints we quickly whiz through. Should I just leave this open, shouldn't I? I think I will. A conference SharePoint. So another way you can use a SharePoint. So we had a conference last year. We added all attendees of the conference to the SharePoint. This was actually had a team sitting on top of it where people could chat in the teams. And you can see once again, we've got the files all sitting on the page and people can interact with the folders from within the page. We also have, this is another school similar to the Curry one. We'll head on to this page instead. So this is our professional learning hub at one of my schools. And I want to take you to our blended learning toolkit. So this is a toolkit. This is a professional learning area for staff in the school. And you can see that our model for blended learning is here for staff to learn about. And then they can head into our explicit teaching strategies page. And on this page, you'll notice that I've got some buttons. These buttons all go to specific, what are they called? Anchored to certain pages. Anyone who knows me knows I don't do technical language, so please excuse me. So it's anchored to this specific spot on the page to help people navigate. So there's not a scroll of death. One of my big mottos as I make these SharePoints is to try and stop the scrolling. So you'll see that on this page, and yeah, ironically, I'm just going to scroll now to show you. I've got some videos, I've got some buttons, images, I've got documents embedded on the page so people can view the documents in situ, or they can pop out and download and print as needed, because some of our staff still like to print. And we've got different images. This is a gallery of images here. There's all different stuff. We can put videos on a page. That's another embedded document. I think this is a little file folder that's about to pop up here. So a little document storage area with multiple documents sitting on that one page. And then finally, we have, if I was to head to our technology survival kit, this is another page where we've got lots of embedded documents so people can come and see some how-tos around So for example, this shaded area are all Teams related documents, and then we have hardware related how-to guides, other guides. So I guess I'm just trying to show you at the moment a variety of uses for the SharePoint, and then we'll dig into the Teams space. None of this is particularly fancy. This is just me making stuff to use with schools. So I'm going to show you a primary school page. So this school in southwestern Sydney has a focus on project-based learning. So all the documentation for their projects are in here, and they can pop into, so it's been set up, so you can head into the stage 1 area and find all the programming and all the documents they need inside. Here we go. So this is a project, and we can download the resources, the program and student work samples from this page. So that's all set up already for staff. And then they have their regular admin area, and the admin area is where they upload, like Curry High School, all their formalised documentation for staff. On these pages as well, you'll see on the front page, these are all the regular external links that staff might go to. So the idea is that staff can make this page their home page, and everything they need for school is ready to go. You'll see that there's a download here. You can put in timers, you can put little calendars in the side, and of course you've got your navigations down the side here. So I think, and here's a final one. Now this is the other extent of SharePoint, where you can go and create a really big, fantastic SharePoint that is a little bit like Pinterest. Just takes a second to load this one. And this has had some extra functionality added to it. You'll see that there's no left-hand navigation. Navigation is across the top. And we've hacked into the CSS to change how buttons look. We have, oh, something went wrong, not what you want in the middle of a session. So I'm going to close that, and we're going to go now just quickly back to my why don't I just click that button? That's quicker, right? So that's some SharePoint sites, if you like. So we can set it up for document storage. We can set up for specific things like conferences, for specific classes. We can do all sorts of stuff. So now I'll show you how we do that. So let's see. So the first things I do is written here. I make sure my Teams channels are ready first. So because today I'm in a different tenant, I'm going to have to work through my Teams through the browser. So please excuse me while I do this. So these, just say I wanted to make this test hub into a SharePoint site. So the first thing you need to do, and I can highly recommend this, like as in recommend it, like don't not do this, if that makes sense. You must do this. There we go. I said it. You must do this. Is create your channels according to your structure that you want for your site. So before I even get to that, I set up a bit of a sitemap using just something like Glue Maps, whatever you've got, doesn't matter, it's just a flowchart. And do some work. I always do this as a group work with the leaders in the school and people who are going to be using it the most to set out what the structure for the site is going to be. So this is the first level, then underneath that is the second level. First level, second level, third level, first level, second level. So this site has 3. There's actually lots more than that in here now. However, this is what we did to start. So I can recommend you do the same, that you set up your structure so that you are ready to go with your team when it comes to that. So now I have my teams here, and I have my, according to that sitemap, my channels made. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head into the files area, and I'm going to choose, so I clicked on the files tab, and I'm going to choose open in SharePoint. Underneath every single team, there is a SharePoint ready to go. You may or may not know that. So this is the SharePoint I'm going to be using. And you'll see that it's sort of kind of set up for me. It's not how it would if I was working in, you know, corporate industry. Yeah, this probably would work for me, but it's not going to work. So I'm going to make this work according to that team structure. So the first thing I'm going to do is if I click on the documents here, you'll see that I have under general, or not. I'm just going to head home. And what I want to do is I want to head into site contents. Sorry about this, guys. Head into site contents. And then, there we go, head into documents. And you'll see that those channels aren't there that were there a little while ago. Oh, well, bad luck. Aren't there. So I'm now going to head back to my test hub. And I'm going to, once I force the files to be constructed, that's why, you can tell I just made this quickly, can't you? It's coming, there we go. So it's just making those folders. So make sure you create your channels. I'm sure you all in Teams know how to create your channels. And then click on your files. And that will force the folders to be created in the SharePoint. So we just wait a second, just wait a little bit longer. All right. So now if I head back to here, look at that. There's all those folders already been created in there for me. So you can see the same folder now exists. So the one thing I recommend you do at this point in your documents is click the sync button. Once you click the sync button, it forces down into your computer the folder, and that's where I actually make all my subfolders. So if I click down here and I go into my New South Wales OneDrive, I should have in here Test Hub documents, and you'll see that those folders are now ready for me to work with. So what I actually do is I create my folders. So remember this little chart back here. Remember this chart here. I create these folders. So under faculty planning, I need STEM, Quest, Capel, Lifestyle. So I'm going to head back into my folders here and I'm going to go new folder for that STEM. Then I'm going to go another new folder and call that Capel. And then I'm going to go another new folder. So you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to call this Quest. So that is that's on my desktop, but it's actually syncing up. So if I head back in here to my site content, I head into my faculty planning folder, you'll see that 2 seconds and those folders will be syncing up to my folder. Oh, you know you want to. You know you want to. I did do it in that one, didn't I? I think I did. Yeah, faculty planning. Good, excellent. It is syncing. It's got a little circly thing. We'll come back to that in a second, yeah. So I go through and I create all my folders ready to go. I can highly recommend taking your folders down to the minutiae, because we all know what it's like when you have a staff of 80 people and everyone thinks things should be saved in specific ways, and everyone's headspace is different and it just doesn't work. So make the folders and be ready for it. So now my teams in here will also have, under the files, we'll also have, thank you, those folders that I've created. So just to do the full loop for you, the folders will be in the SharePoint. There they are. They're in the SharePoint now. They're on my desktop in here, and they are on my Teams. So if you can get people to understand, it doesn't matter where they put the file in, it's going to appear, then that is just gold for them. All right. So I've created the folder ready to go. So now what I want to do is quickly start editing my website so it looks nice. You know how to set up your files now. Let's make it look beautiful. So the first thing I do is I play with this left-hand side here, the navigation, because I don't like what appears in the navigation because people press things I don't want them to press. So I remove the conversations, I remove the notebook, I tend to remove the pages, and I'll remove the site contents when I'm ready to publish the site. I don't have it on there once it's live and for everyone, and I actually remove the documents as well. So I'll show you how it all works in a second. So that's all ready to go, and I need to press save down the bottom, or else everything will stay there and you'll get very, very confused. Now I want to edit this page and make it look more beautiful. Now there's a little quirky thing that I always create a new page to start to replace the page they give me, if that makes sense. I don't like the page they give me as a home page, so I make my own. So then I make that the home page, which I'm going to show you. So this is a blank page inside Teams, inside SharePoint. And in the olden days, it was really difficult to create SharePoint sites nicely. Now it's not so. So the first thing I need to do is add an image to the top banner. So I'm going to change my image. And if you want to get really fancy, which I recommend you should, then what you should do is create a folder in the site assets, create a new folder and call it site images. And then put all your images that you want to use inside the site. So I'm going to upload, this is basically just OneDrive. So I'm going to upload into here something that I might use as a banner, something I prepared earlier. So this is my site, and I uploaded the picture and I choose open, and it places that as a banner. And then with this focus area, I can move it to fit nicely for me. So I'm going to set it like that. Now my name's on this page here. Don't want it. Clicking on the X, getting rid of it. The other thing that I can do, so once you upload, you can then click on the pencil to edit this web part. So a SharePoint website is created of web parts. Lots of little different, if I think back to the olden days, lots of different widgets on a page, basically, is the best way to look at it. And each of those widgets or web parts can have an editing functionality to them. You can change them around a little bit. So at the moment, there's a white box over the top called an overlap. I can have that there if I want. I can go for this really ugly graded 1990s look gradient if I want. I can go for nothing and just have a blank. I can go for a color block, or I can go for the overlap. I actually tend to choose the overlap the most because it suits my style. You can have your text in the middle or on the side. So I'm going to call this demo. Oh, no, we're going to call it welcome because it's the first page. Welcome. And then I can choose to show the published date if I want or not, whatever I like. It's up to me. I'm going to turn my comments off because I don't like people commenting all the time on the pages. They're not for commenting. The commenting, I want them to do that in the Teams. So I'm going to turn the comments off. And then if I hit publish, I can see my page is now being created. And the first time you create a page, this little thing pops up and it says add the page to navigation. Yes, that's what I want to do. Or save the page as a template. This is very handy in future things, but at the moment, see how it's now on the left-hand side? Well and good, makes me happy. So now I want to make this page the home page for the website. So I'm going to head into my site contents. Now, once you remove the site contents from the side here, remember I told you it's really ugly and you want to move it because people will click on it and get really confused. You can get to the site contents up in this cog area and you click on the site contents. So everything that was in the left-hand side that I removed, I can get to via the click up the top. So I'm going to head into my site pages, and that page that I just made, which was called the welcome page, I'm going to click on the dots next to that and I'm going to choose make home page. So now when I click on home, that welcome page is now the home page. Yeah. So if I click on home, yeah, that was, and I don't actually need this welcome page here because that's just really confusing, isn't it? So let's remove it and save it. There we go. And just refresh. So now my home page is the page that I like. And now I'm going to add some extra bits and pieces onto my page. So I'm choosing edit. And now I need to add my web parts. Well, actually, there's a couple of things I can do first of all. I need to add some sections. So the more sections on a page, the better for mobile viewing. So you know when you're on a mobile phone and when things go responsive, a web page like this will break and put them underneath each other so they stack nicely for a mobile phone. A column is the point in which a website breaks, if that makes sense, to stack nicely. So for example, if I have 3 columns on this page here, oh sorry, if I have a section with 3 columns and 2 columns, that's going to break here for me nicely for people to see. So the columns, use them as much as you want, and you can change things around. One of the beauties of SharePoint is once you've put something on a page, you can come back anytime and change that to be 2 columns or 1 column or whatever you like, or a third on the right. Whatever it is you'd like to do, you can do. So on the Kurri Kurri High School page, need to go to Kurri Kurri High School, this one here. On the right-hand side of this page is a persistent right-hand column. See this column down the side here? This one here. This will always remain there on this page. And that can be added via, where is it? There it is. This vertical section here. So if I choose vertical section, it will add on the right-hand side. So let's just leave that there for now. And I'm going to add some text into this right-hand side to tell me what this is about. So I need to add a web part. And my choices of web part that I have here, can you see all these? There's like a gazillion of them. And I probably only use 3 or 4 of them. And that's okay. So the first one I'm going to use is the text. And once this text is here, welcome to this test hub. I can put the information there, fix my typos, of course. It's all the stuff you guys are used to doing. Can I please encourage you to use your headers and your style guides rather than font sizes? Luckily, there's not a lot you can do in here, which is really good because it does stop people who are a little bit overzealous in the eyeball-hurting text, stopping doing stuff. So I've got that text there now ready to go. And I do want to put a little image up the top. So I'm going to click on image. It takes me out and says, where am I going to get this image from? Remember, I made the images folder. So I'm going to head back into site assets. I'm going to head myself into site images, wasn't it? And then I'm going to upload into here a little file. So get all your stuff ready in advance. Why don't I just do, let's do an EduDay one. Yeah, that'll do. So we put that little thing there. And now I have a little banner, a little image on top of my icon. Actually, I want to put this text above. So all it becomes once you've got it on the page is dragging and dropping. Thank you. Thank you. I can also drag and drop this across between sections, which is great too, and very handy. So I'm actually going to drop this across here. There we go. Now I want to add on to my beautiful page here a video. So I'm going to head into the embed button and out here, YouTube, Mike Tolson, SharePoint. Let's see what's up. I'm going to grab a SharePoint link. There we go. Just give me one video. Any video will do. That'll do. Share. Grab the share link.
Hi, my name is Mike Tolson.
Hi, Mike. I'm going to grab that share link. Thank you very much. Get the link. Copy the link. Thanks, YouTube, for changing your interface. And I paste the link into here. Really? That's really... Oh, because it's Bing videos. That's why. Let's just pop out to YouTube and grab the share button, the share information from YouTube. Now, if you use Office 365,
Microsoft Education. This channel is dedicated to quick.
If you use Office Stream videos, you just grab the stream link as well, and you can pop in. Let's just delete all that, yeah. Paste my YouTube link there, and the video will embed for us. So they're all within no time at all. You have an image, some text, and a video on a page. If I wanted to change this to be that video, anyway, you can spend hours organizing this stuff, guys. You know what it's like. Now I want to add those files. So I want to add the, you know how I made those folders? I want those to be present on this page. So I'm going to choose for this document library. So one of the web parts, the little doohickeys, is called a document library. And it comes up and it says, well, where do you want me to start looking? So you just click through and it's in here. And that's what I want them to see. I actually want this to be across the whole. Let's go one column. Yeah, that's better. And this web part itself, once again, has its own little editing functionality. And I can decide to just see specific things. So if I just wanted to see the CAPL folder, that's right, you have to go /CAPL. And in front of that is one.faculty planning. So you type your folder, there we go. The folder path is ready to go. You can choose how many items you want to be seen. And you can show whether all different stuff in there. So if I choose apply now, this is inside that CAPL folder. So let's just actually get rid of that because that's a bit dodgy. And choose apply. So now I can see all those folders again. So now when I republish, the minute you hit republish, it is live. You can see that I've got those folders there ready to go. Very important to show you how to change the color. See this change the look up the top here? Change the look. And you go into your themes and you can change one of the ones that I like, and this is going to sound really strange, is the grey one. And then I choose customize, and then you can come in here. I think I'm going with a bit of a red theme. No, let's go with a purple theme. That suits well. Save. And so now the little odds and sods will have that purple sort of look for them. Again, it's not changing so much that you are going to make a nightmare of your site. Well, I have, but anyway, it will make it nice for you to play with. So I've now got those folders on a page. If I wanted to put one specific file on a page, once again, choose edit for the page. Go to the section that you want to put the page onto. For the next set, I'm just going to put two columns, a two-column section in here. Let's go. 2 columns. See how that's all purple now? Pretty. I'm going to choose in here in the web parts. This time I'm going to choose file viewer. And it says, well, what file do you want to see? Oops, I haven't uploaded any yet. So let's quickly pop into, let's just pretend and upload a file into this site. Is it just me, or does this feel like it's slowing down as I'm going through this? Okay, so in the documents, and this is going to go back to that folder structure. So I'm going to go into faculty planning, going to go into CAPL, and I could have uploaded this. I could have chucked something in the folder on my desktop, but you know, my brain's not working the way it should at the moment. We all know what that's like, holidays and all that. And let's just say that I am going to pop in here. Anything will do, Pip. Okay, that'll do. This PDF document. So it's just uploading it now. A heads up, if ever you've got a PDF and you upload on top of it some changes, it just replaces it. So it's really cool and handy in that way. So now I'm going to say that I want this document to show on my front page. So you just trust it and follow the documents, and you can see here now that that PDF is going to be on that page for people to view. Yeah. That, and they can click and download. The next thing I want to show you finally is the buttons. So on this page here are all these buttons here, yeah, that take you to different parts of the page. So they are called quick links. Quick link. Quick link here. And if I was to say that I want the Canva page, Canva is where you can make banners and things like that. If you're looking to make your own graphics, I recommend Canva for that. And I want that to open up. So with these quick links, it can open a page on the site, a document on the site. It can open an external link. So I'm going to choose an external link, pop the button on there. It gives me a yellow line, go, yeah, I know. And I get the button coming up here. Now, maybe that's not what I want it to look like. Once again, remember I said we can edit all the web parts. So when I click on the little edit button, hello, thank you. I've got some choices on how these might look. I might have a film strip, which will slide through all the different links. I can make a grid. And as I add more quick links, they will all come up in a grid. But the one that I probably most use is a button. And then with a button, we can do something like put the icon on top. We can make it fill in with color, and it will pick up that dominant color for the theme that you chose. And I can have one, if I like, I'm not going to do fill color because that's just annoying me. I'm just going to do outline. And then I'm going to edit this icon from being the little world icon to being one of the many stashed in the back end of SharePoint. So if I click on change the icon, hello, thank you, there we go. I have a whole heap of icons that I can choose from. Let's just choose the airplane because we all wish we went somewhere exotic during these holidays. Thank you, thank you. Select. So now my icon, hello, 2 seconds, is going to save. Any seconds, there we go. And I have a little aeroplane on my icon. I can also upload my own icons as well by clicking on that change and doing another option. So then when I want to add another link, this is slowing way down. I just click on the add a link again. It pops up. Do you want to do a link from a page, a link from a document, or an external link? And you can just create all your links as you would like to. You can search for image, you can do some pull things directly in from your OneDrive if you want. It's up to you. So now I need to cancel that. So now when I republish my page, it does save as it goes along, but you need to publish it to push it out to everyone. You'll see now that we have a very, very ugly looking page with a banner for a header up the top. We've got some videos embedded, images. We've got those files. So now you can actually navigate through those files from this page. I do recommend that you show everybody how to sync either the top level at this top level documents or just the sub levels, the sub level that they might need if they don't want all those documents. Anyone in the Department of Education, New South Wales, you just need 1809 image in order for that to work. So that's how you create. So now that team is actually sitting underneath the SharePoint. And one thing I do just to make people really close the loop even further is on the general page, I will go into the plus and I will add it as a tab. So if I go into tab, now there is a SharePoint option here, document library. Yeah, nah. I go into website, believe it or not, and our site. And there's a typo, of course. And don't post because that's annoying. And the SharePoint will sit.
Ding.
Oh, tin time. There you go. Inside the SharePoint for you to work with. So there's about 3 or 4 multi-layered sort of links between. Last thing to show you, if you wanted to create a SharePoint that's got nothing to do with your Teams, then you can do that via your OneDrive area. 2 seconds while this very slow computer takes me there. Oh, we've got a new. Oh, that's new. It's amazing what holidays do, isn't it? 2 seconds, heading into Staff Portal, going to head into the OneDrive. Any second, where's my OneDrive? You can never see if we're looking, hey. Where is it, guys? There it is. Boom. So start with your SharePoint really slowly. The SharePoint lookbook, while that's loading, I'm just going to quickly show you. This SharePoint lookbook will have different ideas for setting up your pages. I recommend you have a look in that. The docs.com, Microsoft docs.com learning area has a lot for you to learn SharePoint know-how. That's sort of how I learnt stuff. So head into that space, and also LinkedIn Learning. If you have access to LinkedIn Learning, that's another area where you can learn some SharePoint. I'm just showing you there's a reason we're going into OneDrive very slowly at the moment, and that's to show you the other place you can make a SharePoint. So basically a SharePoint sits with a group. So once this renders, see this create on the left-hand side, create a shared library. If I click on create a shared library, this will create a SharePoint site for me. So one thing I have done in the past is created a SharePoint site using the library and then put as a tab inside Teams and told my staff to use the Teams for the work in progress documents. And then I put a tab to this SharePoint site. All you need to do is give it a name and choose next, and it will create that site for you. You can add members now or later. When you add the original site that we made, when you add people to the team, they automatically get access to the SharePoint. This one, not so. So you need to add people via the cog up the top when it appears. Here we go. And in here, site permissions, and you can invite people to the site at various levels. I don't play around with the permissions much, don't need to. Just tell people don't hit the edit button and it's all good. So good luck with that. I'll probably do some more of these in the future. However, I hope that's enough to get you started. And let's see, I might stop sharing my screen maybe, Amanda, or just ask if there's any questions, anyone?
There's just a couple in the Q&A, Pip, that I couldn't really answer. One is, and I think you might have just touched on it, can you use a spreadsheet to bulk upload guests?
Potentially. If you head into, in New South Wales, as long as you've got a group, you can add people as a group. So if you know what that group name is, then in this site permissions, invite people. If you know what that group name is, then you can add into here via the group name, if that makes sense. And
in that invite function there, though, will it let you do copy and paste CSV if you didn't
potentially
have to?
Yeah, I've copied and pasted from a big email with like I had a big email distribution list, and I've copied and pasted across because it's the same format.
Okay, cool. And the second one is, do you restrict what staff can do to documents in SharePoint? I think you kind of just answered this, because obviously you can, but what do you do?
So what I have done for some of them in that PL site, I created a folder and got the share link to made it just a view only folder, and then that restricted people. Another thing that I've done in this curry one is I've created a vault folder. So if I head into this Kudakaya faculty, you'll see in here there is a faculty vault. This folder has permissions on that only specific people can see it, and the other folders are available by anyone. I don't want to play around too much in permissions because A, that's not the point of SharePoint, B, teachers have to get used to doing stuff and not clicking on buttons, and C, there is always a version control that you can head backwards and reinstate things if needed.
Fantastic. And the only other question actually comes from me at this stage. There's actually a couple that have popped in, but very quickly. We're talking a little bit about making a SharePoint site to sort of house data or resources that you might want to use year after year and just customize it a little bit, and then obviously pop it into your team when you're creating new teams each year. Obviously, if you go from Teams and you create the SharePoint site within Teams, that's going to archive when the team archives. So you would then have to create that OneDrive to be retained through your OneDrive.
Yes, or in Teams, when you create a new team this day, you can template from another team the folder structure across. So bringing that across and then clicking on the SharePoint link should have that folder structure there for you. Okay,
excellent.
Does that make sense? But the pages don't, unless you have this other doohickey, you can't copy a page between different sites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just a recap of the resources that you talked about for learning how to use SharePoint.
Yeah. So I would, the SharePoint lookbook is great, and docs.com SharePoint. So docs.com is the Microsoft documentation area. So this SharePoint area is really good. And also LinkedIn Learning has some great little videos and documentation. So there is a lot out there for you to use for getting to know SharePoint.
Fantastic. So I'm just posting those into the chat for everybody now.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you're under the DET tenant, can you still create a new SharePoint site that allows outside of? No. Okay. No.
SharePoint is due to the way, you know, what SharePoint is all about. It's about sort of closed groups. So the New South Wales tenant does not have any functionality to have public sites at this stage.
No, but a tenant could have external access granted, but most of the departments around Australia don't have that.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, I think that's pretty much it for today, and I'd love to thank Pip, or I'd like to thank Pip. That was an absolutely amazing session, and there was lots of feedback, positive feedback in the comments to Pip on how amazing the stuff that you've made is. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And if you weren't in the session this morning, there was a closing ceremony advertised, but this is it now. We're not actually running that this afternoon. So if you have attended a lot of sessions throughout EDU days today, this is actually the wrap. So I would just like to, again, thank Pip and thank all the other presenters and you as attendees for giving your time up today to actually come and learn more from the voice of Microsoft, which is all of our teachers and MIE experts that are out there. So we should do, you know, a virtual applause. Just give everyone a round of applause at the end. We'll end the live event and everybody can go and enjoy their weekends. So just remember, I will post in one more time the link if you wanted to watch anything on demand or any of the sessions that you missed. So yeah, thanks again and happy Friday.
Reach out, love to help you if I can. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Amanda. Bye.